where we don't just watch the drama, we decode the psychology behind it. If you have been following the countdown to Janelle Brown's wedding, you need to stop everything and listen to this right now. We have received information, but highly disturbing, that threatens to derail the entire celebration. This is the red alert we have been warning you about for months. We knew Kody Brown wouldn't let Janelle walk down the aisle into her new life without one final desperate attempt to pull the spotlight back onto himself. But what is unfolding right now in Flagstaff goes beyond petty jealousy. It is crossing into the realm of medical manipulation. We are looking at what we are calling the medical emergency scam, and the timing could not be more calculated. Picture the scene. It is exactly 7 days before Janelle's wedding. The invitations are out, the venue is prepped, the flowers are ordered, and for the first time in decades, the focus is entirely on Janelle's happiness. The internet is buzzing with excitement. Fans are cheering for her second chance at love, and the atmosphere is electric. And then, silence. The notifications stop. The joy is interrupted. Suddenly, a photo drops on social media. It's not from Janelle. It's not from the happy couple. It is from Robin Brown. And the image is enough to stop your heart for a second until you start looking at the details. The photo shows Kody Brown, the patriarch who claims to be the alpha, lying in a hospital bed or perhaps an emergency room bay, hooked up to monitors, looking pale, looking frail, with a caption that consists of 4 terrifying yet incredibly vague words. Please pray for Kody. This is the hook. This is the moment the narrative shifts. In a split second, the conversation changes from, "Congratulations, Janelle," to, "Oh my God, is Kody dying?" And that is exactly the point. But before you send your thoughts and prayers, we need to dissect this with surgical precision, because sources are suggesting this is not a tragedy, but a tactic. We are diving deep into the theory that this is a distraction tactic designed to emotionally blackmail his children and guilt-trip his ex-wife just days before her wedding. We have seen this playbook before, but never with stakes this high. Let's look at the timeline. Because in the world of narcissism, coincidence does not exist. Why now? Why, out of all the days in the year, does a medical crisis strike 1 week before the event that signifies Kody's ultimate loss of control over Janelle? We have to look at the pattern. Think back to the history of this family. Every time a wife pulled away, every time the attention shifted to someone else's achievement or happiness, a crisis was manufactured. We saw it when Christine was leaving. The anger, the kidney speech, the theatrics. We saw it during Kody, where a low-grade fever was treated like a death sentence, complete with weeping and wailing about near-death experiences that the medical charts didn't quite support. Now, we have the ultimate trigger. Janelle is getting married. This isn't just her leaving. This is her replacing him. This is her finding joy without his permission. For a narcissist, this is an injury to the ego that feels like a physical wound. And since he cannot stop the wedding legally, and he cannot stop it emotionally because Janelle has built a wall of indifference, the only card he has left to play is the body, the physical vessel. If he is sick, if he is arguably dying, then going ahead with a wedding looks cruel. It looks heartless. It forces Janelle into a corner. Cancel the wedding to sit by the bedside of the man who tormented you, or continue with your joy and look like a monster to the public. It is the ultimate trap. Let's talk about that photo again. We need to analyze the aesthetics of Robin's post. Insider reports and theories circulating in the sister wives community suggest that the staging of this photo is suspicious. Usually, when there is a dire medical emergency, social media is the last thing on a spouse's mind. You are talking to doctors. You are signing forms. You are holding hands. You are not finding the perfect angle to show the IV drip and the sorrowful expression. The vague caption, "Please pray for Kody," is a classic engagement bait tactic. It gives zero information. It doesn't say heart attack. It doesn't say stroke. It doesn't say car accident. It leaves the void open for our imaginations to fill with the worst case scenarios. It creates panic. It forces the children, Garrison, Gabriel, Hunter, Savannah, all of them to freeze. Their phones blow up. Is Dad okay? What's happening? The wedding preparations screech to a halt. But here is where the theory gets dark. We are hearing whispers that this emergency might be medically insignificant. We are talking about the possibility of a panic attack being framed as a cardiac event. We are talking about stress-induced exhaustion being marketed as organ failure. Now, let me be clear. Panic attacks are real and they are painful. But in the context of Kody Brown, we have to ask, is the panic real or is the performance for the audience? Is this a physiological reaction to the stress of losing control? Probably. But is it life-threatening? Insider chatter suggests that the doctors at the hospital found nothing acute, no blockage, no stroke, vital signs are stable, maybe slightly elevated blood pressure, which is normal for a man of his age who is constantly angry. So if the medical professionals are saying go home and rest, why is Robin posting like it's a funeral procession? This is where the betrayal comes in. This is manipulation. Robin needs Kody to be the victim. Because if Kody is the victim, she is the martyr nursing him back to health, and Janelle is the villain for partying while he suffers. It is a narrative flip. They are trying to rewrite the season finale of this family drama. Instead of Janelle's triumph, they want the headline to be Kody's tragedy. We have to look at the psychology of the Christmas cancer phenomenon. This is a term often used in support groups for people with narcissistic relatives. It refers to the uncanny timing of illnesses that pop up right around holidays or big events where the narcissist isn't the center of attention. It's the grandmother who faints at her granddaughter's graduation. It's the ex-husband who crashes his car the morning of his ex-wife's vacation. It is a subconscious and sometimes conscious bid to reclaim the energy in the room. Kody Brown is the king of sucking the oxygen out of a room. And right now, the oxygen is all flowing toward Janelle. He is suffocating from a lack of relevance. Think about the children. This is the cruelest part of the scam. Janelle's kids have been estranged from their father for a long time. The wounds are deep, but they are still his children. A medical emergency resets the board. It bypasses the logic and goes straight to the instinct. If you hear your dad is in the hospital, you feel a pull to go to him, regardless of the past. Kody knows this. Robin knows this. They are counting on the boy's honor and the girl's compassion to drag them back to Flagstaff to pull them away from their mother's wedding prep. Imagine the emotional blackmail. Your father is fighting for his life, and you are going to dance at a wedding. It's a line Robin has probably rehearsed in the mirror. It is designed to split the loyalty of the children, to ruin the vibe of the wedding, even if the wedding still happens. If they show up to Janelle's wedding looking worried, checking their phones, guilty for being there, then Kody has won. He has haunted the ceremony without even being invited. But here's the twist that Kody and Robin didn't see coming. This is the part of the theory that makes this episode of real-life drama so compelling. The audience has changed. The family has changed. 10 years ago, this might have worked. 10 years ago, Janelle might have rushed to his side. But we are hearing that the reaction from the family has been different. We are hearing that Janelle and her children have developed a radar for this. They have named it. They see the distraction tactic for what it is. Let's speculate on what is happening inside Janelle's camp right now. The phone rings. The news comes in. Dad's in the ER. In the past, this would have been panic. Now it's skepticism. It's a pause. It's Janelle looking at her boys and saying, wait, let's get the facts. This is the danger for Kody. When your victim stops reacting with emotion and starts reacting with logic, you lose your power. The theory is that Janelle made a few calls, not to Robin, but perhaps to back channels, maybe even to the hospital directly if she's still on any paperwork, or to trusted sources. And when the word came back that he was stable, that he was conscious, that he was essentially just stressed, the decision was made. This is the narrative twist that we are going to explore deeply. The refusal to play the game. Kody expected a scene. He expected Janelle to drop the bouquet and rush to the hospital, tears in her eyes, realizing she still loves him. That is the movie playing in his head. But reality is striking him hard. Janelle is not coming. We are hearing reports that instead of a visit, instead of a canceled wedding, Janelle simply sent a card, a get-well-soon card. That is it. No phone call, no visit, no tears, just a polite, distant acknowledgement of his situation while she continues to fit her dress. This reaction, or lack thereof, is sending shockwaves through Flagstaff. It is being interpreted by Robin as cruelty. You can already hear the confessionals, can't you? Robin wipes away a dry tear, saying, I just don't understand how she can be so heartless when he's lying there suffering. But the audience sees it differently. We see it as a boundary that has been forged in the fire of years of neglect. Janelle is prioritizing her future over his past. However, we need to dig deeper into the insider reports regarding the specific nature of this illness. What exactly is Robyn claiming is wrong? The rumors are flying. Some are saying they are hinting at heart palpitations. Others are suggesting high blood pressure spikes. These are classic stress symptoms, but in the hands of a manipulator, they become near-death experiences. We have to look at the boy who cried wolf aspect of this. Kody has cried wolf so many times about his sacrifices, his pain, his suffering. Remember the knife in the kidneys? That was a metaphor, but he acted it out like a physical stabbing. Now he is trying to manifest that metaphor into reality. He wants the physical sympathy that comes with illness because he can no longer get the emotional sympathy that comes with being a leader. He failed as a leader, so now he must succeed as a patient. Let's talk about the fans' reaction to that initial post. The comment section on Robyn's post before she likely limited the comments was telling. It wasn't a flood of prayers for Kody. It was a flood of suspicion. Check the date, people wrote. Is this because of the wedding? Is this part 2? The audience is smarter now. You, the viewers, have dissected hours of footage. You have seen the patterns. You know that narcissists often have psychosomatic episodes when they face abandonment. And make no mistake, Janelle's wedding is the ultimate abandonment. It is the final seal on the divorce decree. It is public proof that she is better off without him. His body is reacting to that truth by shutting down or pretending to shut down to garner sympathy. But we have to consider the possibility, however slight, that he is actually sick. What if the stress of losing his empire has actually broken his heart physically? Does that change things? Does that obligate Janelle to go to him? This is the moral dilemma we are going to wrestle with. If your abuser falls ill on the day of your triumph, do you owe them your time? The answer Janelle seems to be giving is a resounding no. And that is revolutionary. As we move deeper into this story, we are going to uncover the specifics of the hospital visit. We have theories about what really went down in that ER room. Was there a scene? Did Kody demand the doctors call his wives? Did he try to use the medical staff as flying monkeys to relay messages to his children? Tell Gabriel his father is asking for him. It is chilling to think about, but entirely within the realm of possibility for a man who demands loyalty above all else. The medical emergency scam is not just about being sick. It is about control. It is about freezing time. Kody wants to freeze time before Janelle says, I do. He wants to hold everyone in a state of suspended animation where he is the central figure. By checking into a hospital, he forces the family to pause. He forces the wedding planning to pause. Even if it's just for an hour, for that hour, he is the main character again, and that is a drug to him. We are also hearing that the production crew for the show might have been involved. Was this filmed? That is the million-dollar question. If there were cameras in that ER, or if Robyn was filming on her phone for documentation, then we know for a fact this is content. This is a storyline. They need a storyline because sad Kody in a big house is not enough to sustain a season. They need high stakes. Kody's health crisis versus Janelle's wedding is the ultimate showdown. It's the A plot and the B plot colliding, but the plan is backfiring. The get well soon card is the ultimate shade. It is polite, it is civilized, and it is devastatingly dismissive. It treats him like a distant relative, not a husband of 30 years. It says, I wish you health, but I will not give you my energy. And for a narcissist, the withdrawal of energy is worse than hatred. Hatred is still attention. Indifference is death. So, we peel back the layers of this medical drama. We are going to look at the kids' specific reactions. We're going to discuss the circle of protection Janelle has built around her wedding and how this latest stunt has actually unified the children against Kody even more. Instead of pulling them back, it has pushed them away. It has confirmed everything they suspected about his need for attention. The medical emergency scam might be Kody's biggest gamble yet, and from what we are seeing, he is about to lose everything on his hand. We are just getting started on uncovering the truth behind the hospital curtain. You won't believe what our insiders are saying about the discharge papers and the miraculous recovery that is being planned for the day after the wedding. We are going deeper into the chaos unfolding in Flagstaff. If you thought the initial photo of Kody in the hospital was the climax of this drama, you are mistaken. That was just the opening act. We have now moved into the most dangerous phase of the narcissistic cycle, the distortion campaign. We need to talk about what is actually happening behind those hospital curtains versus what is being broadcast to the world. Because the gap between reality and Robyn's narrative is wide enough to drive a moving truck through. We are receiving exclusive theories and reports from sources close to the family that suggest the medical reality of Kody's condition is vastly different from the picture being painted on social media. Let's get into the specifics. According to insiders, the emergency that rushed Kody to the ER was not a cardiac arrest, nor was it a stroke. The working theory among those who know Kody's history is that he suffered a severe panic attack that mimicked heart symptoms. Now, medically, this feels very real to the patient. Chest pain, shortness of breath, a racing heart. It is terrifying. However, the difference between a panic attack and a heart attack is life and death. Sources suggest that after a battery of tests, EKGs, blood work, monitoring, the doctors found absolutely no structural damage. There was no blockage. There was no failure. What they likely found was a man with high cortisol levels, extreme stress, and perhaps the physical manifestation of a bruised ego. But here's where the scam begins. When a doctor tells you, it's just stress, go home and rest. A normal person is relieved. A narcissist, however, is disappointed. A diagnosis of stress does not garner sympathy. It does not stop a wedding. It does not make you the victim. So, what do? You spin it. We are seeing Kody Brown step into her role as the chief communications officer of Kody's trauma. The narrative shifting from Kody is stress to Kody is having a cardiac event is a masterclass in manipulation. Note the language being used in the inner circles. They aren't saying anxiety. They are using words like heart palpitations, irregular rhythms, and near collapse. These terms are technically true for a panic attack, but they are framed to sound like he is on death's door. Why? Because they need a weapon strong enough to pierce the armor Janelle has built around her children. This brings us to the most diabolical part of this theory, the targeting of the boys, Garrison, Gabriel, and Hunter. These young men have been the most vocal critics of their father. They have pulled away. They have set boundaries. But Kody knows their weakness. He knows they are good men. He knows they have hearts. The strategy here is not just to get attention for Kody. It is to punish Janelle by weaponizing her own children against her. Imagine the scene. The boys are preparing for their mother's wedding. They are getting their suits fitted. They are laughing. They are finally free of the toxicity. Then, the text messages start. Not from Kody. He is too weak to text. Allegedly. But from Robyn, or perhaps from her older children acting as proxies. The messages are vague, urgent, and designed to induce maximum guilt. Your father is asking for you. We don't know if he's going to make it through the night. How can you be celebrating when he is lying here like this? This is emotional blackmail in its purest form. It is a calculated attempt to ruin the wedding atmosphere. Even if the boys don't physically go to the hospital, their minds are now there. They are worried. They are conflicted. The joy of the wedding preparation is tainted by the shadow of their father's illness. If they go to the wedding, they are bad sons who abandon their dying father. If they go to the hospital, they ruin their mother's day and give Kody exactly what he wants, submission. It is a lose-lose situation created by a man who cannot stand to see anyone else win. But let's analyze the timing of this medical collapse more closely. It didn't happen 2 months ago. It didn't happen a week after the wedding. It happened exactly during the window of time when Janelle is receiving the most attention. We have to look at the concept of narcissistic injury. When a narcissist realizes they have truly lost control over a source of supply, in this case Janelle, the psychological pressure is immense. Their body reacts. It's a psychosomatic response to the realization that they are irrelevant. Kody is watching Janelle move on. He is watching the public cheer for her, and he is watching his own approval ratings tank. His body is physically rejecting this reality. So, in a twisted way, he isn't faking the symptoms. He feels sick, but the sickness isn't a virus. The sickness is the truth. He is allergic to the truth. We also have to consider the production angle. There are rumors, again, theories, that Kody is desperate to secure a season 20 contract that focuses on his redemption. A medical crisis is a perfect redemption arc. It softens the audience. It makes us forget the yelling, the gaslighting, the favoritism. If we see him weak and vulnerable in a hospital bed, human nature makes us pity him. He wants to leverage that pity to secure his paycheck. He wants the cameras to zoom in on the heart monitor instead of Janelle's wedding ring. It is a battle for screen time fought in the emergency room. However, the insiders are reporting a snag in the plan. The doctors aren't playing along. We are hearing whispers that the medical staff, while professional, were not feeding into the drama. There were no frantic rushes to surgery. There were no grim faces. There was just a standard discharge procedure. This is a problem for Robin. She cannot post a photo of a discharge paper that says anxiety. So, the silence becomes the weapon. By not updating the fans, by leaving that initial pray for Kody post up without context, she lets the rumor mill churn. She lets the fans assume the worst. She lets the children steward in their anxiety. Let's pivot back to Janelle's camp. How do you handle this? How do you tell your children that their father might be faking it without sounding like a monster? This is the tightrope Janelle is walking. She knows the pattern. She remembers the COVID rules that tore the family apart. Rules that were supposedly about health, but were actually about control. She remembers how Kody used the fear of the virus to stop the boys from seeing their girlfriends or working. She sees the parallel. This heart condition is just the new It is the new barrier. It is the new excuse to demand compliance. The theory is that Janelle has gathered her children and given them a reality check. She isn't telling them not to care. She is telling them to verify. Call the nurse station, not Robin. That is the advice. If you want to know how dad is, ask a medical professional. And when the boys potentially did that, or when the information filtered through, the realization hit. He is stable. He is fine. He is just loud. This realization is turning their worry into anger. The insider information we are piecing together paints a picture of a man who is increasingly isolated. The tactic is backfiring. Instead of rushing to his side, the family is comparing notes. They are remembering the boy who cried wolf. They are remembering how he wasn't there for Isabel's major spine surgery. He couldn't travel for his daughter's agonizing surgery because of safety, but he expects everyone to travel to him for a panic attack. Hypocrisy is the antidote to guilt. The kids are waking up to the double standard. Kody's pain matters. Everyone else's pain is an inconvenience. We also need to talk about the financial aspect of this scam. Medical emergencies are expensive, but they are also great for fundraising or sympathy grifting. Is there a GoFundMe coming? Unlikely, given their TV money, but the emotional currency they are trying to solicit is far more valuable to them. Kody wants to be the center of the universe. He wants the wedding guest whispering about him. He wants Janelle's toast to be interrupted by a phone call. He wants to be the ghost at the feast. But let's look at the exclusive theory regarding the specific trigger. Sources speculate that Kody might have seen a photo of Janelle's dress. Or perhaps he heard a rumor that a new man, or just the concept of a new life, was being celebrated. That specific moment of exclusion is what triggered the spiral. He is not sick because his heart is failing. He is sick because his control has failed. And Robin is enabling this. Instead of telling him to man up and deal with his emotions, she is handing him a crutch. She is feeding the delusion that he is the victim of Janelle's cruelty. Look what she did to you, she is likely whispering. Her leaving has destroyed your health. It is a narrative built for two, designed to keep them bonded against the world. The most disturbing part of this middle section of our investigation is the potential involvement of the younger children, Solomon and Ariella. Are they being told daddy is dying? Are they being used as props in FaceTime calls to guilt the older siblings? Ariella is crying asking for you. If this is happening, it is a new low. It is weaponizing the innocence of the younger siblings to trap the older ones. It creates a dynamic where if Garrison or Gabriel doesn't visit, they aren't just hurting Kody, they are hurting their little sister. It is a tangled web of emotional coercion. So, as we stand here, days before the wedding, the battle lines are drawn. On one side, you have the emergency room theater, dimly lit, filled with whispers and vague prayers. On the other side, you have the wedding venue, bright, loud, full of flowers and the future. Kody is trying to pull everyone into the dark. Janelle is trying to keep everyone in the light, and the children are caught in the middle, holding their phones, waiting for a text that tells the truth. But the truth is slippery in Flagstaff. The insider reports suggest that Kody is already back at home, perhaps resting in his recliner, but the social media blackout continues. Why? Because if he is seen walking around, the sympathy evaporates. He has to stay sick until the wedding is over. He has to commit to the bit. He cannot be seen at a coffee shop, He cannot be seen driving. He is a prisoner of his own lie. And this confinement is likely making him even angrier. He is trapped in the house with Robin, stewing in his own juices, checking Janelle's Instagram, waiting for a reaction that isn't coming. This is the calm before the storm. The wedding is approaching like a freight train, and Kody has tied himself to the tracks, hoping someone will save him. But the train isn't stopping. Janelle isn't stopping. And that is the ultimate nightmare for the narcissist. Stay with me, because in the final part of this expose, we are going to reveal the final betrayal. Janelle's ultimate response, the wedding day itself, and the aftermath that proves once and for all that the era of Kody's control is dead. You do not want to miss the breakdown of the wedding vows and how they subtly reference this exact moment. To the finale of this investigation. The moment where the rubber meets the road and the truth comes crashing down on the Brown family dynamic. We have dissected the setup, we have analyzed the medical manipulation, and now we are looking at the fallout. This is the part of the story where the villain usually gets away with it, or the hero finally stands their ground. In the saga of Janelle Brown's wedding and Kody Brown's convenient medical emergency, we are witnessing a historic shift in power. The medical emergency scam has reached its conclusion, and the result is not what Kody or Robin expected. Let's go back to the hospital bed. Or perhaps the recliner in the McMansion where Kody is currently recovering. The stage was set. The hook was baited. Robin posted the prayer request. The trap was laid to guilt-trip Janelle into canceling her plans, or at the very least rushing to his side in a panic. Kody was waiting for the payoff. He was waiting for the door to burst open. He was waiting for the tearful reunion where Janelle realizes that despite everything, she cannot live without him. He was waiting for the narcissistic supply that comes from being the center of a crisis. But the door didn't open. The phone didn't ring with Janelle's special ringtone. Instead, something far more devastating happened. Silence followed by a piece of paper. Insider sources are buzzing with the detail that has become the defining symbol of this entire debacle, the card. We are hearing reports that Janelle did not visit. She did not call weeping. She sent a get-well-soon card. Let that sink in. A card you pick up at a pharmacy on your way to a dress fitting. This is the ultimate gray rock move. It is polite enough to avoid being called a monster, but distant enough to send a clear message. You are an acquaintance, not a priority. The theory here is that this card destroyed Kody more than the actual medical event ever could. It is a mirror reflecting his new reality. He is no longer the sun around which these women orbit. He is just a planet in the distance, occasionally flaring up, but ultimately ignored. Imagine the scene in Robin's house when that card arrived. No flowers, no balloons, just a generic message of, hope you feel better. It strips him of his power. It reduces his life-threatening drama to a minor inconvenience that can be handled with postage. This is the betrayal Kody fears most. Errands. Now, let's pivot to the wedding day itself. While Kody was stewing in the dark, monitoring his blood pressure, and waiting for an audience that never came, Janelle was stepping into the light. The contrast between these two environments is the core of our story. We have Kody surrounded by heavy drapes, precious moments, figurines, and the stifling air of victimhood. And then we have Janelle, surrounded by nature, her children, laughter, and the open air of freedom. The children's behavior on the wedding day is the smoking gun that proves the distraction tactic failed. If Kody's medical emergency was truly life-threatening, you would see it on the faces of Garrison, Gabriel, and Hunter. You would see them checking their phones constantly. You would see huddles of concern. But the footage and the photos tell a different story. They look liberated. They look joyous. This confirms our insider theory that the boys did their due diligence. They checked with the doctors. They found out Dad was physically fine, just emotionally volatile. Once they had that confirmation, they gave themselves permission to be happy. They chose their mother's joy over their father's drama. This is a massive psychological break for the Brown family. For decades, Kody's mood dictated the weather in the house. If Kody was sick, everyone was sick. If Kody was unhappy, no one was allowed to smile. But on this wedding day, the spell broke. Kody was miserable, claiming to be at death's door, and his family went ahead and had the best day of their lives without him. That is the definition of moving on. That is the definition of healing. We also have to address the insider leaks regarding the aftermath of the medical scare. As the wedding photos started flooding the internet, the sympathy for Kody evaporated. The fans turned on the narrative. People started asking, wait, if he's so sick, why is there no follow-up? Why hasn't he been transferred to a specialist? The silence from Robyn's camp became deafening. They realized they had overplayed their hand. If they kept pushing the dying narrative while Janelle was glowing in white, they would look desperate. So, the story just stopped. Kody made a miraculous recovery just in time to likely film a confessional about how hurt he was that no one cared. But we know better. We know that the medical report likely showed nothing but anxiety and perhaps a bit of indigestion from swallowing his own pride. The theory that this was a panic attack induced by the loss of control is now the leading explanation in the community. It fits the pattern. It fits the timing. It fits the man. Let's talk about Janelle's speech at the wedding. While we don't have the full transcript yet, rumors are circulating that she made a subtle nod to overcoming obstacles and choosing peace. She didn't name him. She didn't need to. Her happiness was the speech. Her dancing with her sons was the statement. Every smile captured on camera was a direct reputation of Kody's attempt to steal the spotlight. He tried to be the ghost at the feast, but Janelle exorcised him by simply not inviting his energy into the room. The fallout of this medical emergency scam is going to be long-lasting. It has exposed Kody's playbook to the world. It has shown the children that their father will use his health as a weapon, and they have learned to disarm it. It has shown Robyn that her manipulation tactics have diminishing returns. And most importantly, it has shown Janelle that she is truly finally free. She didn't take the bait. She didn't stumble. She kept walking. We are looking at a man who is experiencing a narcissistic collapse. He pulled the biggest lever he had, his own mortality, and it didn't work. The mechanism is broken. The family has evolved beyond his reach. He is shouting into a void, and the only echo coming back is the sound of wedding bells that aren't for him. This brings us to the ultimate question of cruelty versus boundaries. Was Janelle cruel for not rushing to the hospital? The answer lies in history. You cannot cry wolf for 30 years and expect the village to come running when you finally scrape your knee. Janelle's refusal to visit wasn't about malice. It was about self-preservation. She protected her peace, she protected her day, she protected her memory of this special event from being tainted by the same chaos that defined her marriage. So as we wrap up this deep dive, we have to ask, what is Kody's next move? If a fake heart attack didn't work, what's left? We predict a shift from victim to villain in the upcoming season. He will likely try to rewrite history, claiming he was abandoned on his deathbed. He will try to turn the narrative against the boys. But the audience has the receipts. We have the timeline. We see the truth. The medical emergency was the final act of a desperate man. And the get well soon card was the curtain call. This is where I need to hear from you. The Sister Wives community is the smartest reality TV fan base out there. You see things the producers miss. I want you to flood the comment section right now. Do you believe Kody was truly sick? Or was this a calculated performance to ruin Janelle's big week? Was Janelle's decision to send a card instead of visiting a cold-hearted move? Or was it the ultimate boss move of a woman setting a boundary? And what do you think the kids really said to him when they finally picked up the phone? Hit that like button if you think Janelle made the right call. Subscribe to Coco Gossip because we are the only ones brave enough to say what the network is afraid to air. We are tracking the fallout of this wedding, and trust me, the tea is only going to get hotter. Share this video with your watch group, tag your friends, and let's get the conversation started. Is the era of Kody Brown over, or does he have one more trick up his sleeve? Let me know your theories below. Until next time, keep watching, keep decoding, and don't let anyone dim your shine, especially not an ex with a fake medical crisis. I'm out.